The power button in your iPhone 5C hasn't been working for a while and you're ready to fix it. Well, you've come to the right place, because today I'm going to walk you through replacing the upper component cable in your iPhone 5C. Hi, I'm Gwendolyn with iFixit, and for this repair you're going to need an iSclack, a pentalobe screwdriver, a Phillips 000 screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, plastic opening tools, a spudger, and tweezers. I already have the majority of the tools I need in my ProTech toolkit, so I'm ready to get started. When you do your repair, make sure you follow the step-by-step guide on iFixit.com. Not only does it walk you through the complete repair, but you can also see comments and notes from other users who have followed it, which is extremely helpful. First things first, I'm going to make sure that my phone is completely powered off. And once I've confirmed that, I'm going to get started opening my phone by removing the 2 screws down by the lightning connector. With those screws out, I'm ready to open up my phone. To do that, I'm going to use this tool called the iSclack. If you don't have an iSclack, you can use a combination of a small suction cup and a spudger or an opening tool to pry the phone open. Using the iSclack is super simple. Just position the suction cups right over the home button and open the handles. Once the suction cup is fully engaged, just press the handles together and you'll have an open phone. Now that we have the phone open, we can move on. The battery connector is located right below the battery connector bracket, which is held in place by 2 Phillips screws. To disconnect the battery, we're going to use the flat end of our spudger to lift the cable out of its socket. Make sure you're prying the cable connector itself and not the actual socket. The display assembly is still connected to the logic board. To get it completely off, we're going to need to disconnect all the cables, but before we get to those, we have to remove the cable bracket, which is held in place by 4 Phillips screws. Make sure you use an organizational tool for keeping track of your screws. They are incredibly small and can vanish easily. I'm using one of our magnetic mats, which holds the screws in place, and I can also make notes and keep track of where the screws come from. And there are all those cables. To disconnect them, I'm going to use the flat end of my spudger. Next up, we'll get to work on removing the SIM card. Removing the SIM card is as simple as inserting a SIM eject tool into the SIM card tray. The first step to removing the battery is removing the adhesive strips that hold it in place. The adhesive strip has a tab that can be lifted up by using the pointy end of your spudger. Once you've got it fully out, cut the black tab right between the white adhesive strips, and carefully pull the innermost tab straight up, making sure to keep it flat and not twisted. Now that the adhesive strips have been removed, you can lift the battery right out of the phone. With the battery out, we can get to work on all the cables connected to the logic board. A small piece of tape may obscure the logic board grounding clip, so use a pair of tweezers to remove the tape. There are a total of 7 screws holding the logic board in place. And to remove those, you'll need both your Phillips bit and a small flathead bit. Now that all the screws are removed, we can finally get to work on the logic board. Using the plastic opening tool, gently pry the logic board up and out of the phone. But there is an antenna cable that is still attached to the logic board on the underside. So before you try to pull the board all the way out, roll the board over and use your spudger to disconnect it. Now we can remove the rear camera. To do that, we're going to start with the bracket that is held in place with 2 Phillips screws. Once the bracket is off, you can use your spudger to disconnect the rear camera and just lift it out of the phone. On the other side of the phone, you'll see the vibrator, which is held in place by 2 screws. Once the screws are removed, you can simply lift the vibrator out of the phone. Back on the upper right side of the phone, we need to remove the upper assembly contact bracket from the rear case. And to do that, you're going to need both your Phillips and flathead bit. And once the bracket is out of the phone, you can also remove the foam tape that is obscuring the screw near the camera cavity. Now we can get to work on the upper component cable. First up, we're going to remove the screws holding the power button in place and remove the power button. From there, we're going to remove the volume button and the ringer switch brackets on the side of the rear case. With the tip of your spudger, you can gently pry the brackets away from the rear case, removing the ringer and volume buttons as you gain access to them. Alright, now that the buttons are removed, we can start by removing the cable itself. Using the flat end of our spudger, we're going to slowly separate the cable from the rear case and then carefully remove the cable. For reassembly, we recommend you follow the step-by-step guide on iFixit.com in reverse, and if you're in the mood to see a reassembly on video, check out the iPhone 5C reassembly video on our channel. You can find all the parts and tools you need for this and many other repairs at iFixit.com, and let us know how it goes. You can find me on Twitter at Gwendolyn Gay and follow iFixit at iFixit. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all our latest teardowns and repair videos, and you can give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/iFixit.